tweeted that the Ukraine needs to show some mettle and resist Russia to raise the perceived cost of any intervention or invasion. Is that what you're seeing? Is that what you've seen in the last few days?
Well, I think that was the whole point of the anti-terrorism operation, although that hasn't exactly gone according to plan, the way that the Ukrainians might have liked it. But they've shown that they're prepared to, for the first time, take some action against what they perceive to be a Russian provocation, Russian invasion of sorts, and do something. And I think it's very difficult for other people to come to Ukraine's aid if Ukraine itself is not going to stand up for itself and say, we're going to resist what's happening.
So how does Ukraine play this now? Because you just heard Steve there talking about they want to see Russian forces out of Crimea, they want to see the troops withdraw from the border, but at the same time there is conciliatory messages in there in that they want to allow further powers to be given to the region areas and elect their own officials, for example. So where does the solution lie between two rather extreme things?
Well, that I think is a key point. That's why we're seeing so much wrangling going on today. The positions are very far apart between Ukraine and Russia on this. The Russians would clearly not like there to be an election at all. They would like an aggressive federalization of Ukraine because that solves their own problems. But no Ukrainian politician could possibly accept the effective dismemberment of their country and the inability of Ukrainians to elect a new government going forwards. I think what they're trying to do is find, if you like, the lowest common denominator. What can we agree upon right now? What can we get a message across? Because, you know, Ukraine, and I think to a certain extent Russia, do want some kind of statement out there that at least illustrates that diplomacy is being given a chance.
Come in here, Simon. What do you think? Because it seems like the market's expecting diplomacy and a solution to this no matter what.
Well, the market's just trading from headline to headline and getting buffeted around. We've got equities down 3% one day, back up 2% the following day. Meanwhile, sort of credit investors, risk asset investors are just paralysed on the sidelines in Easter week as well, so you're going to have reduced liquidity. But negative headlines or sort of uncertain headlines just produce illiquidity and people standing on the sidelines. We need some clarity. We need some some direction going forward. So that come back next week post Easter, we can perhaps get on with some in a trading direction, whichever direction that might be, but both positively or negatively.
If we go back to what Steve said in the likelihood of getting a holding statement right now, what's the dominant force for investors right now? Is it earnings season? Is it the dove-off I described earlier between Draghi and Yellen, or is it the geopolitical risk? Because it's tough to rally in that situation.
It is, although it's tough to sell off as well, because at the same time, while you've got all the weaknesses coming through out of Ukraine and Russia, whatever that might be, at the same time you've got the Draghi put, you've got Mrs. Yellen sounding dovish, you've got basically that backstop bid from central banks and accommodative policy going forward. So, the market remains very firm, but very fragile.